Türkiye has maintained a delicate balancing act since beginning of the war in Ukraine. While presenting himself as an ally of warring parties, he derived economic and political benefits from his relationship with both. Turkey condemned Russia's invasion and provided diplomatic and material assistance to Ukraine's war effort. At the same time, the country's leader, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, has publicly chosen not to join Western-led sanctions against Russia or cut ties with Moscow. But Turkey's neutrality in the Ukraine conflict appears to be met with increasing impatience in Washington and Moscow, and may be difficult to maintain a changing geopolitical environment. In September 2023, the US Treasury Department imposed sanctions on Turkish companies and a businessman accused of helping Russia circumvent US sanctions. Erdogan, meanwhile, has failed to revive agreement with Russian President Vladimir Putin that allows grain shipments from Ukraine to be exported through the Turkish Strait and Dardanelles, easing global food prices. Developments show that both Washington and Moscow are trying to pressure Turkey to take a decisive stance. There are already signs that Erdogan will bend. On 25 October 2023, Erdogan signed Sweden's NATO accession protocol and sent the protocol to the parliament for approval, which had previously refused to approve this move. This disturbed Turkey's NATO allies. This move can be interpreted as a sign that Turkey's balancing strategy has reached its limits. But this could also be another tactical move in Erdogan's expanding geopolitical chess game as he seeks to position Turkey as a diplomatic power amid rising violence in the Middle East. As an expert on Turkish politics international relations, I have seen Erdogan walking a fine line between the commitments of the longtime NATO member and its dependence on Russia for trade, economic resources, energy imports. But as the war drags on, this balancing act becomes increasingly difficult. Broker strategy. Erdogan's approach is compatible with Turkey's historical foreign policy trajectory. Turkey has maintained a balance between Western European powers and Russia since Russia emerged as an assertive regional player on Turkey's northern border in the early 18th century. The balancing act ensured that Turkey's predecessor, Ottoman Empire, remained largely intact into the 19th century despite increasing pressure from Russian Empire and European powers. The failure to use balancing strategy in First World War facilitated collapse of empire. Turkey, which joined forces with the losing Central Powers, had to share a disastrous fate. In contrast, the strategy of neutrality in World War II helped Turkey survive the war unscathed. Against the increasing Soviet threat during the Cold War, Turkey took refuge in Western security guarantees and joined NATO in 1952. Freed from the Soviet threat in the 1990s, Ankara sought greater autonomy in foreign policy. However, it lacked necessary economic